Hey, Keely Reason here. Thanks for joining me today. Today I'm actually in my kitchen. I wanted to show you how I'm going to make black bean brownies. My mom's actually gluten intolerant now, and tomorrow we are going to go to her house and I want to surprise her with a dessert she can actually eat. So this is a flourless, gluten-free recipe, and it's pretty simple. So one thing that you must have is a food processor. Mine's actually really little, if you can tell. And so I may not be able to blend all of the ingredients in this at one time. I might have to sort of work that through. But you're going to start with about 2 cups worth of black beans. You can buy a 15-ounce can and drain it and rinse it, which is a little less than 2 cups. I started out with dried beans, so I kind of just have to guess what a 15-ounce can would have. So there's about 15 ounces in this cup. You put them in your food processor, and at this point you're going to need to add some chocolate chips. I just bought regular old chocolate chips. I made sure that they didn't say that there was any wheat in this or any gluten. And you need about half a cup. This will go into your black beans at this point. It's really important that you have chocolate chips. I've made these brownies before, and every one that I have looked at uses chocolate chips. Those that don't use chocolate chips, oftentimes the brownies won't turn out right. You really do need to have the chocolate chips. You will use baking cocoa at some point, wherever the front of this is, but you do need the chocolate chips, I think, for the fudgy effect. So now I'm going to do this. Pardon the really loud noise you're about to hear. Okay, I got it started, and now I'm going to add a little bit of oil, like a liquid, so that it will blend some more. This recipe calls for 3 tablespoons of oil. I use olive oil, but you can use your favorite kind. Olive oil is just what I use for all of my baking and everything. So I'm going to continue to blend until it gets soft. Okay, as you can see now, it's starting to look like brownie batter. I have a little bit more space in this, so I'm actually going to start adding the eggs now. You're going to need 3 eggs. And this will really help it blend. If you don't have a very large blender, like I don't, you might need to just use a hand mixer, or you can do it in parts. Take out a little bit, add some more. So I'm putting my 3 eggs in now. And I'm going to blend it. Alright, so it's really pretty juicy. I need to scrape down these sides a little bit because there's still some beans that haven't blended all the way. I'm just going to do this very carefully. I'm going to blend it a little bit more, and then I'm going to put it in my mixing bowl so that I can add the rest of the things into the batter, because I've run out of space now. But if you have a large enough blender or food processor, you could do it all at one time. Okay, so we're done with blending. As you can see, this is a very, I can't really tip it, it's a pretty wet consistency, and it will thicken up a bit when we add the sugar. We're about to add brown sugar, cocoa powder, vanilla and salt, and also baking powder. The salt and the baking powder are the things that help allow it to rise. So what I'm doing at this point is I'm just emptying out the blender, or the food processor. You could do this in a blender if you have like a really good blender. I can't personally do this in the blender I have, but if you had a magic bullet or something that you could, really do beans with, I'm sure you'd be fine. Okay, so now I need to add some vanilla. This is pure vanilla extract. You can use whatever you have on hand. It wants a whole teaspoon. Here's my teaspoon, and since I need to use this for my dry ingredients, I'll go ahead and do those first. So you need half a teaspoon of baking powder. And you need 1/8 of a teaspoon salt, which wouldn't be this thing full. It's just a tiny bit in here, a little less than half. And then I'm going to do the full teaspoon of vanilla. I also need to put in half a cup of baking cocoa. As if this isn't chocolatey enough, right? We do have to kind of cover up that black bean flavor. So I put a half a cup of that in there. As far as sweeteners go, I'm going to use brown sugar today. This says it needs 3/4 of a cup. You're really supposed to pack it down. I don't always pack it down. Stuff seems sweet enough to me anyway, so I usually use a less sugar than what something requires. So when it comes to brown sugar, I don't always pack it in like you're supposed to. Okay? And once I am done doing this, I will mix it up like what a normal brownie batter. At this point, you can just stir it in depending on how much you have it broken up, or you could use a hand mixer, whatever you feel most comfortable with. I think I can manage to just stir it to get it to the consistency it needs to be at this point because it was already so wet. It's pretty amazing that these black beans, it just looks like batter. I think that's pretty amazing anyway. So I'm stirring it up. It's sort of a light, fluffy batter here. I've got all my ingredients in here. I'm making sure I get everything from the very bottom of the bowl. And I have my pan prepared here. I sprayed it with olive oil. You could use whatever it is that you like to do when you are cooking. You could use like a lard, you could use butter, whatever your restrictions are, whatever you prefer to do. Just make sure you're greasing your pan. And then you're going to pour it into your pan. Alright, you need to have your oven on 350, and these are going to bake for 20 to 25 minutes or until a toothpick comes out clean. It may take more time, it may take less. I'm going to take and shake my pan around to make sure that everything is nice and even. And you can take a little bit more chocolate chips at the end. This is another half a cup. And just sprinkle it on the top. This will make it extra fudgy. The recipe actually only called for half a cup. And then you were to split them, so half goes in the batter, the other half would actually go on top. But I actually kind of like to have a lot of extra chocolate, so I used a full cup in mine. And as you can see, this is how it looks. Ooh, it's sliding all over the place. I'm going to stick this in the oven, and I will post a picture of what it looks like. I hope you guys enjoy this video today and see how simple it is to make brownies from black beans. This video was about 9 minutes long, and if I didn't have to stand here and talk to you, I might have been able to put them together even faster. And as you can see, that's probably no slower than if you were to use a box recipe. And these are going to turn out pretty amazing, I think. So leave me any comments if you have any questions, and I hope you try this out and it works well for you.